Good thing my daddy made me get a boating license when I was 15. And I've cleaned enough houses to know how to cover up a scene. Good thing Estee's sister's gonna...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Bees. You like the bisexual lighting? Tonight, we continue our road through every single Taylor Swift album. And I'm doing it like Super Size Me, right? If there's a longer version, if there's a Taylor's version, that's what I'm listening to. And tonight, we have no other album than Evermore. Evermore, before I had even listened to Folklore, had always kind of been viewed as the sister album with Evermore, so they're written around the same time. You know, I had always been told that the vibe is still kind of similar, and really, you know, it seems as though a lot of the Swifties, right, you there in the comments, and you watching this video seems, you know, it's like, oh, well, this one's my favorite, or that one's my favorite, but more often than not, so it might not be what you think are the best albums, but I seem more often than not, it's Folklore and Evermore that get considered to be the highest in maybe critical acclaim, so to speak. And I was very impressed with Folklore. Like I said, the whole point of this journey, hey, if I end up really loving Taylor Swift, amazing, right? I'm listening to music I wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. But more importantly than that, it is seeing the evolution of the world's biggest pop star. If nothing else, that's what this entire series is. And I thought that with Folklore, we got some of the best consistent and like headier types of songwriting that she had given glimmers of in the past, but it really, like, they just seeped into all these ideas, right? And within all those ideas, I came up with 1,000,000,001 ideas about what certain songs meant on Folklore, and it seems that, sure, was I reaching at some points? Maybe, but I think that's a testament to how good Folklore was, that there was so much more to be offered than what was on the surface. Now, am I going to be going crazy with theories here in Evermore? I don't know. All I know is that the story's not done. And we're continuing that story tonight. Going forward with all of the next Taylor Swift reaction videos that I do with the albums, I'm going to be putting a link down in my description for you to request songs that I haven't already listened to yet. These could be songs or just clips or live performances. A lot of people send in some live performances. So if it's maybe tangentially related to Evermore, for the case of this video, but I'm not reacting to it in this video, go ahead and send the request through, and then once I'm all done, I finish with Tortured Poets Apartment, I'll go ahead and throw on a couple streams where I'm reacting to all the songs that you guys have requested that I may have missed so far. Other than that, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you never want to miss another one of these Taylor Swift reactions or any of the other album reactions that I do, go ahead and visit my Patreon where I offer that for just $1 a month. Jerry Bees is doing the best to fight inflation, and Jerry Bees also talks in the third person now. This is key. This is key. Oh, I can't believe I forgot, but I read the foreword prologue. I think this one's called the foreword for Evermore, and it's probably my favorite like prelude to any of her albums because it's real short, and she basically just says, yeah, we just like couldn't stop writing songs, so this is just like pretty much an extension of Folklore. She didn't say that in as many words, but that's kind of like the gist I got. They really enjoyed just hashing all of these songs out. And, you know, you could say that they did it quickly, but I don't feel that there was any diminishing returns in that. So I'm excited to see what the surplus of that could be. Is it unfair to call Evermore a surplus of Folklore? I don't know yet, right? I don't know. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Taylor Swift's Evermore Deluxe version from 2021, first song, Willow, now.
I never would have known from that look on your face, lost in your current like a priceless wine. The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans, that's my man. They count me out time and time again. Life was a willow and it bent right to your wind, but I come back stronger than a 90s trend. Wait for the signal and I'll meet you after dark. Show me the places where the others gave you scars. is an open shut case. I guess I should have known from the look on your face. Every bait and switch was a work of art. The more that you say, the less I know. Man, yeah, that's my man. Yeah, that's my man. Every bait and switch was a work of art. That's my man. Hey, that's my man. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man.
Okay, so I don't know if it's because I haven't listened to Taylor Swift in a while or I just really like the vibe off of Folklore, but this immediately, first of all, I absolutely loved that one. That might be my favorite opener. Welcome to New York exists still, but like that was like so good. And a lot of it. So help me out here, chat. Right? Was this again? It is. Let me confirm. Is Jack and Aaron back on this one, and is this one more of an Aaron than a Jack? I don't really think it matters that much, but I loved the work that you could hear Aaron Dessner doing. More Aaron? Okay, perfect. I could hear the work, and I vibed with the work that Aaron Dessner did on Folklore. I thought that sound that he kind of got Taylor into and that they both, kind of worked to achieve just really sat me in a nice little, like, cottagecore pocket, as it were. But this one, if you say cottagecore, this is 100 times better. The instrumentation, and it's not really been something that I've talked about in the Taylor Swift streams, right? Or in any of my reactions to her albums. Although I started to say it a lot during Folklore. And that is just continued and refined here because it's not like, it's not like technically talented shit, but it's simple, it's effective, and it is produced so goddamn clean. So clean that I can hear like all the little percussion elements in the back too. Her voice just slips right into everything. I think that breathier delivery that she has here worked really well on top of the instrumentation. And that beat, it's just like this, and it's catchy as hell too. So it's like it's accessible, and it's just really super clean. This is just clean as hell. Now, lyrically, I don't know how much there is to get out of this. I think, especially with Folklore, right? The shape and the color of the narrative might continue on as we, kind of continue on. Whether or not that's overarching or it's just like themes really. So, like back from Folklore, right? If you just kind of look at it as a letter to the concept of folklore in and of itself, that all these little tales, down the lines, down generations, it becomes folklore, right? So we'll see where we go here. So like lyrically, this might become a little bit brighter for me as we continue. But trust the process. Exactly. Trust the process. Jim, what do you think about that one?
It's good shit, pal.
Okay. Moving on here, folks. Champagne problems.
You booked the night train for a reason, so you could sit there in this hurt. My picture in your wallet, your heart was glass, I dropped it. Champagne problems. Carry on, you brought it. No crowd of friends applauded. Your hometown skeptics called it champagne problems. You had a speech, you're speechless. Love slipped beyond your reaches, and I could November flush and your flannel cure. This dorm was once a madhouse. I made a joke, well it's made for me. How evergreen our group of friends. Don't think we'll say that word again, and soon they'll have the nerve to deck the halls that we once walked through. Her picture in your wallet, you won't remember all my champagne problems.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Lyrically, there's a lot here, and I don't know exactly what it is. And now, if you're watching the YouTube video, right? I try to not look at the chat too much while the song is playing before I give my interpretation of things. So if you're worried about that, you're worried about that. But first, let me know, and I'm pretty sure I'm right here. I think she's employing like the 4 chords of pop in this one. Like just how it starts out, right? Just that chord progression of 4 chords, right? I'm pretty sure that's like, yeah. So if you've never seen it, I'll link it down in the description of this video, the classic Key of Awesome 4 chord song. And I'm pretty sure those are the same chords. She does in 90% of her songs. I don't know if I've heard it so out in front, because this might be one of the first times. Don't Stop Believing ass chords. Yes, exactly. But I think I would have been less excited if this was like a heavy pop song that was using those chords. But knowing that it's just the piano, it's like, okay, so she's probably just going to be singing on top of this. And it, coming from the last song, it's setting this really nice atmosphere to listen all the way through. It's where, you could say like, oh, well, it's a song written with the 4 chords. It's like, whatever. No, there's a lot of great songs written with the 4 chords. So immediately here, I'm like, okay, is this kind of like champagne problems and kind of, because I dropped your hand while dancing, this kind of this scene of, everybody's dressed to the nines, or we're trying to achieve like some type of social perception, and there's champagne you're supposed to be celebrating, but there's underlying things beneath that are kind of boiling and causing tension. And then we get to the dorm part though, and is this kind of like a, they're reminiscing about something there. So now I'll go to the chat. Joe and Taylor wrote this song together. It's fictional about refusing a proposal. That makes, okay, you would have made such a lovely bride. What a shame she's fucked. Okay. Yeah, and I like how I couldn't really put it together, because this is one of those things where, I think in early Taylor Swift songs, and this goes for a lot of the songs I, react to on the channel. I think most recently Breaking Benjamin had like a lot of songs where I'm like, okay, this is so general. You can apply so many things to this. And I think Taylor had a lot of those. And then of course there's underlying things, you can point to certain, events in her life to where you can kind of point like, okay, that's what, that was the inspiration for the song here. But this is like a fictional thing, and it's, not as, it's not giving you as many answers, but the details therein are still very vivid. Again, I really like the phase in her songwriting here. I really do. I'm just having a lot of fun here. She and Joe only wrote sad songs together. Taylor songs can be so deeply personal and specific to her that it goes back to being overall relatable. Yeah. Well, you got to write it in that way. Here, there are very specific examples, but there's nothing like, okay, I can't like necessarily point to like anything just in general knowledge, like of culture, I guess, or whatever the hell. No, I liked this one quite a bit. It's moving along here, folks. It is moving along. Whoever said this song is Gilmore coded jail. But I like where this is going. We'll keep the train rolling. We're going to keep the train rolling here, right? Moving on. Gold Rush.
Gleaming, twinkling eyes like almost jumping. I don't like a gold rush, gold rush. I don't like anticipating my face in a red flush. I don't like that anyone without ocean double vision in rose blush. I don't like that falling feels like flying till the bone crush. Everybody wants you, but I don't like a gold rush. What must it be like to grow up that beautiful, with your hair falling into place like dominoes? They don't tea, cause it could never be. 'Cause I don't like a gold rush, gold rush. I don't like anticipating my face in I don't like a gold rush. What must it be like to grow up that into folklore? I can't dare to dream about you anymore. At dinner parties won't call you out on your
And then just a hard cut there. What were with the switch ups in this one? This almost felt like 3 different songs. And I think throughout all of it, didn't you have like that orchestral piece just kind of floating in the background and carrying you to the end there? So lyrically, is this like she's with somebody and like everybody else wants to be with him? Or it could be like the other way around there, but whatever. And then, you're not really digging all the admiration that they're getting from like other people. It kind of puts you in a weird place there. It's like, well, I know you're beautiful. That's why, that's a big reason why I'm going out with you. That's a reason why we're partners, but I don't like sharing or, that can put you in a mood, right? That's a very, very easy thing to say, but, I feel like the pace is meant to capture how she almost lets herself get swept up and then catches herself. I think that'd actually be a good way of conveying that. Because even through all those, all those switch ups and the pace, like the tempo kind of changes there as well, it doesn't feel like a different song to any degree. Slightly different, right? If you squint your eyes, but I mean, it all has the same bones. I really like the repetition, rush, flush, touch, crush, blush, all of that. I while listening to this, I was like, okay, how long is she going to keep this going for? She also hates the way these feelings make her act. Yeah, no, it's very self-awareness. It's very self-aware coded, right? Which I think, more songwriters can do. I think this is a very subtle way of doing it, right? I think this is self-awareness is a very subtle way of doing it that I think is very quite relatable there. And again, she's going with these like finer details with the Eagles t-shirt, paddling across your wooden floors, right? I get it. All songwriting's poetry, yada, 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 yada. But I really do feel, especially within folklore, and so far in this one, probably I'd say even more, these lyrics are much more poetic than I feel, at least outright, than some of her other projects have been. Moving on. Tis the season. Tis the damn season. Okay, chill out. Language, Taylor. Language.
If I wanted to know who you were hanging with while I was gone, I would have asked you. It's the kind of cold fogs up windshield glass, but I felt it when I write this down. I'm staying at my parents' house, and the road not taking looks real good now, and it always leads to you and my hometown. But if it's okay with you, it's okay with me. We could call it even. You could call me babe for the weekend. Tis the damn season, write this down. I'm staying at my parents' house. Hey, just for old time's sake, I won't ask you to wait if you don't ask me to stay. So I'll go back to I know I'm breaking is my own. To leave the warmest bed I've ever known. We could call it even. Tis the damn season. We could call it even. You could call me babe for the weekend. Tis the damn season. Write this down. I'm staying at my parents' house, and look, it always leads to you and my hometown.
Yeah, sorry about the lyrics being cut off on that one on screen, but that one was like really, really good. Just sign Aaron Dessner to produce you for the rest of your life. At least I'm saying that without knowing, but that's who I think did this one again. Yeah. Once I heard, like, I don't even know what percussion that was. It was like the slapping sound in the back. Again, these albums, Folklore, and seemingly more and more as we keep listening, Evermore is just like it's so atmospheric in the best of ways. And again, I didn't catch, there's a lot of things here lyrically, but, and I say this with the utmost respect. I'm getting like emo Hallmark movie out of this one, which in concept is fantastic. We need more of that. Emo Hallmark. Going back to your hometown, it's the holidays, parking between the church and the school. Oh God. Hallmark without a happy ending. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I'm picking up on a theme of nostalgia so far in this one. The album as a whole, and obviously for this song, we'll see if that trend continues further on. Yeah, really good Aaron Dessner produced emo Hallmark song. I think is where we're gonna leave that one. Moving on, we have Tolerate It.
I sit and watch you reading with your head low. I sit and watch you. I notice everything you do or don't do. You're so much older and wiser, and I wait by the door like I'm just a kid. Tolerate it. I greet you with a battle heroes welcome. I take your indiscretions all in good fun. I sit and listen. If it's all in my head, tell me now. Tell me I got it wrong somehow. I know my love should be celebrated, but you tolerate it. While you were out building other worlds, where was I? Where's that man? Took this dagger in me and removed it. Gain the weight of you, then lose it. Believe me, I could do it. If it's all in my head, tell me now. Tell me I've got it wrong somehow. I sit and watch you.
Well, you all just sat and watched me listen to an incredibly sad Taylor Swift song right there. There's a lot of emotional turmoil and anguish here in this one. In its simplest of terms, and keep in mind, this is a track 5 here, ladies and gentlemen. Track 5s tend to be a little bit more emotional, right? A little bit more personal, as it were. And this one definitely is. And I think in its simplest of terms, this is somebody who's probably putting in more effort than the other in a relationship. Somebody is pulling the heavy weight here on this one. I'm listening to this and reading the lyrics, and I'm just thinking about like the housewife characters in Mad Men, if you've ever seen that show, where a lot of the time they just have to put up with like their husbands being just terrible pieces of shit to them and most other people that they know, right? And she's calling that out. She is drawing a line in the sand. From this point, you do not roll the Big Lebowski clip.
I'm talking about drawing a line in the sand, dude. Across this line, you do not.
This is partly inspired by Mad Men, so yes, okay. I'm not even gonna fact check you on that. I'm just gonna accept that you told me I was right. Okay, moving on here, folks. No Body, No Crime featuring Haim.
Estes, a friend of mine. We meet up every Tuesday night for dinner and a glass of wine. Estes, been losing sleep, but I just can't prove it. I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. No, nobody, no crime, but I ain't letting up until the day. Sleeps in Estes bed and everything. No, there ain't no doubt somebody's gotta catch him out. 'Cause I just can't prove it. I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. I think he... Good thing my daddy made me get a boating license when I was 15. And I've cleaned enough houses to know how to cover up a scene. Good thing Estee's sister's gonna swear she was with me.
She was with me, dude.
Good thing his mistress took out a big life insurance policy. They think she did it,
What
but
the
they just
fuck?
can't prove until the day he died.
Yeah, that song sucked. Nah, I'm just playing. Okay. This is the best start to a Taylor Swift album so far, and we're on song 6. This is really good so far, and this is fun. Now, this song kind of breaks the tradition of some of the more minimalist sounding things going on here in this record. But harmonicas. Killer collab. Folklore had that collab, you know, Bon Iver's presence on that album. This might be one of her, if not her best collab to date. I got really excited during Lover for the song Lover, as it felt like, oh my God, like this is kind of like classic Taylor again, you know, those like country roots, or, you know, just, you know, stripped down more acoustic guitar kind of stuff. And this is with the full band here. And it's, if anything, it is, I want to say like this is the 2020s answer to Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood, right? And it goes along with, you know, I am not an expert within country music or like analyzing country songwriting, but there's something I do know about country music. There's a lot of narratives within country music. And this is a narrative of a fucking narrative of a fucking narrative here. Because we're getting this whole thing, right? Like, oh, okay, you know, I know he's cheating, you know, and then they're using no body, no crime, like it's a murder, right? Like, well, I can't prove that he's cheating on her. You know, no body, no crime. And then making that so much more literal towards the end of the song when the dude gets, you know, good thing my daddy made me get a boating license when I was 15. So, and yeah, this one's just like so fun. Estee lost her life, right? So he retired Estee, and then the narrator here, right? Or whoever ended up killing the dude gets some sweet revenge. Happiness.
And in the disbelief, I can't face reinvention. I haven't met the new me yet. There'll be happiness after you, but there was happiness. Tell me, when did your winning smile begin to look like a smirk? When did all our lessons start to look like weapons pointed at my deepest hurt? I hope she'll be this in our history. Across a great divide, there is a glorious sunrise, dappled with the flick. Make it go away by making you a villain. I guess it's the price I pay for hurts you, and you know you hurt him too. Honey, when I'm above the trees, I see she'll give you that. There'll be happiness after you, but there was happiness because of you too. Both of these things can be true. There is happiness in our history.
Just another really emotional track. I don't know what it is about this album in particular. Is my Taylor Swift frontal lobe finally developed to where like I'm like finally like really getting hit by the sadness in this one. This is, I'd say this is one of her stronger breakup ones. It really is. And we've seen her in the past in her songs, using her art to even like call herself out on some things and to hold herself accountable. Like, hey, this is what you did, but this is kind of what I did too. And then add the two together. That's why we split, right? We're both kind of responsible for this thing. But there's like little things in here that I really enjoyed. Like all these years I've given are just things we're dividing up. Which is like so fucking true. Like if you spend enough time with somebody and, you're giving and receiving, and vice versa the entire time. And then when that day comes that you're no longer a thing anymore, you're just dividing all that up anyway. And it just leaves you like, well, that was all kind of arbitrary then, wasn't it? But no, because it meant something at the time. The line like, oh, like when a good man hurts you, and I know I've hurt him too. So like, that he's a good dude and and you feel bad about it, but like what else are you gonna do about it, right? Production wise, this one was solid. There's some fancy little things going on in the background that it kept me engaged, but I didn't really need that to keep me engaged here, because just how she's getting these points across. A lot of utilization on her lower end vocally, and that's showing up a lot in this album already, and I think it's handled here very well. And with that, it's just honesty, right? And I'm not to say, I don't think I've ever once thought that like, okay, Taylor's kind of being a fake snake here, that's kind of disingenuous. I can't really think of a time where I've had to clock her on that. But here it's coming off just so much better. And that's the wrong adjective to use, because there's a better one to use. But that's what I got to say. Moving on. Dorothea.
Tiny screen's the only place I see you now, and I got nothing but well wishes for ya. This place is the same as it ever was. Too late to come back to my side. The stars in your eyes shined brighter in Tupelo. And if you're ever tired of being known for who you know, you'll always know me.
All right, so some people might say that this song isn't good. Now, listen to me explain while you're wrong, right?
It's good shit, pal.
The whole song, right, instrumentally, atmosphere, vibe, this is like the first one to kind of, I'd say, no, no body, no crime, kind of broke maybe, you could argue that it may have broke the atmosphere a little bit. You got the drum set, you got the bass guitar doing its thing, whatever. It still fits into this album's scope and sound really well. And piggybacking off of that concept of nostalgia that I brought up earlier, not only is this, I to me at least, right? Your eyes shine brighter in Tupelo. the same soul I met under the bleachers, recalling, skipping the prom, recalling to younger days, right? So it's nostalgic in that sense, calling back, things in the past, but also that this is another one that kind of sounds like earlier Taylor. And it's bringing that sound back, but in a much more refined way. Be it, from the lyrics. I don't think there's much more refinement you can get out of the instrumentation there, but its place on the album and where it all fits in, I really like this one quite a bit. And then just going back to this whole idea of how she's conveying narratives here. And I think it's done I wouldn't say way better, but I'm picking up on it a little bit better than I did in Folklore, in the sense that these are narratives in a story, right? A happens, then B happens, then C, then D, right? You can look at it that way. The arch of something. This is a story through a character. We are describing a character, and then you can get a story out of that, right? All you really need is a setting, right? Tuple, boom, done. High school, time. People, place, time. That's like the three things you need, but it was through the people lens of things. So I got to give it up to her on this one. Got to give it to her up on this one. So, next up, we got Coney Island featuring The National. Aaron Dessner is here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you any more than who am I related to? And if this is the long haul, how'd we get here so soon? Did I close my fist around something delicate, colder and colder when the sun goes down?
The question pounds my head, what's a lifetime of achievement?
One place to be, mischief, the gift wraps suburban dreams.
Sorry for not winning you an arcade ring. Over and over, lost again with no surprises, disappointments. Close your eyes and it gets colder and colder when the sun goes down.
And I walked up to the podium, I think that I forgot to say your name.
I'm on a bench in Coney Island, wondering where did my baby go? The fast times, the bright lights, the merry-go. Sorry for not making you my centerfold, but I forgot to say your name over and over. Sorry for not making you mine, making you mine, making you my centerfold.
So, like, did somebody just die? Well, yeah. It mentioned the accident, so then that idea kind of got taken away there. Saw somebody said something about it's about not loving somebody the right way. Because I gotta say, this one kind of lost me here. Sonically speaking, this fits into the album real well. It's still nice and sad. It still gives like regret and remorse. There's some displaced guilt. Song wise, this one wasn't my favorite, which, I wouldn't even say that I was hyping it up just because, like, oh, sweet, it's the National, like, would see where it goes. It kind of just carried us from beginning to end. There's just a lot going on with the lyrics there. It's a compilation of events from different relationships and things that she could have done better. As far as the finer details on this one, it left me a little bit, but again, like, sonically speaking, if you just, so far, right, if you kind of just threw this album on, and then, once it got to, like, to this song, it wouldn't be like, for example, I think the B-52's debut album is one of the greatest debut albums of all time. I am also of the opinion that there's like no such thing as a perfect album. Even some of my favorite albums, I'm like, no, it's but the B-52's debut album is damn near perfect. If it wasn't for fucking Rock Lobster, is just the dumbest song, and I get it. It's like that song is like the reason why they're famous, right? It really made them explode onto the scene. Like, well, listening to that album, as much as I love that album, skip that song. It's a perfect album beyond that song. Whereas with this song is a lot better than Rock Lobster, right? Rock Lobster sucks. Ivy.
Grieving for the living. Oh, goddamn, my pain pits in the palm of your freezing hand. Taking mine, but it's been promised to another. Oh, I can't stop you, plumb to be magnificently cursed. He's in the room. Your opal eyes are all I wish to see. He wants what's only yours. Oh, goddamn, my pain fits in the palm of your freezing hand. Found us out. Crescent moon, coast is clear. Spring breaks loose, but so does fear. He's gonna burn this house to the ground. Oh, I can't stop you putting roots in my dreamland. My house of stone, your ivy grows, and now I'm covered in you. And I'm covered in you. Stop you putting roots in my dreamland. My house of stone, your ivy grows, and now I'm covered in you.
So that was Ivy, and I do really like the central metaphor here. I thought Ivy was going to be a name, and I guess it could be interpreted like that as well. My house of stone, your ivy grows, and now I'm covered in you, right? If you know anything about Ivy, it just gets everywhere. Infidelity being a huge theme between folklore and Evermore. It just seems to be getting down in that, and this is more of like a romantic one. It's not necessarily condoning it, but this is like it's giving like maybe the butterflies you'd get if you're involved in a scheme like that. You know, and I do just like this. You know, my pain fits in the palm of your freezing hand, taking mine, but it's been promised to another, right? So that's really everything you need right there. Yeah. So this is like yeah, go ahead, fuck around, find out later. is really what this one gives me. Jerry, the next song is my favorite song in all of her discography. Well, let's waste no more time, ladies and gentlemen, and get to that. Cowboy Like Me.
And the tennis court was covered up with some tent-like thing. And you asked me to dance, but I said dancing is a dangerous game. Oh, I thought this is gonna be one of those things. Now I'm waiting by the phone like I'm sitting in an airport bar. You had some tricks up your sleeve. Takes one to know one. You're a cowboy like me, perched in the dark. I know I'll pay for it. And the skeletons in both our closets plotted hard to fuck this up.
I'm just going to say it. Folklore is Pacific Northwest. Evermore, Montana. Again, you know, and we saw this a little bit in Folklore as well, and I called it out then, where there's more moments where we get the instrumentation to breathe, where it doesn't necessarily have to be a solo. It's just where the atmosphere of the music, and we just get to sit in just that for a second, and that went to a lot of what I liked about Folklore. And it's going to where I think this is like really one of the only moments so far where that's kind of come up in that guitar solo. You know, it's nothing crazy, but it doesn't have to be. You know, it was just nice and sweet, and it sounded great. It was in the middle of the mix, which is just like so fucking perfect. And, you know, this, again, so now here we're at this thing where it's like, okay, we moved on to cowboys, right? So if somebody, you know, earlier on the last song said, you know, this is giving like 1500s vibes or something like that, or just something that's like forbidden love, or, you know, we've been talking about nostalgic things or things of a time gone past. So you could take and look at that as like cowboys, but there's modern cowboys, right? It's just that kind of aesthetic. But this, again, we're creating these characters, but it's like, it's distant. It's somewhat distant. And the music and the atmosphere just complements that so much. It's almost like it's dreamy almost, right? Evermore is a pulled back album. Perspectives on 0.5. Moving on here, folks. Enough of me yapping. We got Long Story Short now.
Tried to pick my battles till the battle picked me. Misery, like the war of words I shouted in my sleep. And you pedestal right down the rabbit hole. Long story short, it was a bad time. Pushed from the precipice, clung to the nearest lips. Long story short, it was the wrong guy. Now I'm all about you. I'm all about you, If someone comes at us, this time I'm ready. Cause I fell from the pedestal, right down the rabbit hole. Long story short, it was a bad time. Pushed from the precipice, clung to the nearest lips. Long story short, it was the wrong guy. Now I'm all about you. I'm all about you, and my waves meet your shore, ever and evermore.
Said it.
Past me, I wanna tell you not to get lost. All about you, I'm all about you. I'm all about you, I'm all about you.
All right, and that was Long Story Short. It was pretty short, I'd say, right? 3.5 minutes. Not too long at all, so literally correct. Literally correct on that one. Good job. You know, this is just continuing the theme here lyrically of, you know, I think the stories she's trying to convey here are coming off in some of the best ways possible. I think, like, when people, like, and I think, how do I want to put this? I think that, you know, saying like folklore, right? You know, outside of like the overarching narrative, like, oh, well, these songs are just stories, right? And so that's what folklore is. You know, you can look at that at face value and just say that. I think that might be, you know, a discredit to everything else she's done before folklore, right? Like, okay, well, then that's to say like there's no folkness to all of that. But I guess that was the point of folklore, right? In sound and in scope, and I get it. It's coming across in this album so much better, you know. Now, is that because I'm not like maybe reaching for as many connections as I was last time? I don't know. Maybe that's got something to do with it. But, you know, she's getting off the pedestal, and it was a bad time, and just keeps getting up. You know, what they say in Batman? Why do we fall, Master Wayne? so we can get back up, right? So, okay, so this was a rep era song that they kind of just refitted for this, because that would make sense, because sonically it doesn't fit into the album the way that the other songs have. It's not so different to where it's breaking my heart or anything like that, right? This isn't ready for it or something like that. But if she would have written this around that time, sure. So I know a lot of people want me to do the lyric video for this one, but if I do that, then I wouldn't, that'd be unfair to the rest of the songs. It really would be. If you want me to watch the lyric video to this, enter it down in the Google form that I have linked down below, and we might get to that in a stream down the line, right? Cool? Cool. Marjorie.
I think you were still around. What died didn't stay dead. What died didn't stay dead. You're alive in my head. What died didn't stay dead. What died didn't stay dead. You're alive, so alive. Never be so polite, you forget your power. Never wield such power, you forget to be polite. Dead. What died didn't stay dead. You're alive in my head. What died didn't stay dead. What died didn't stay dead. You're alive, so alive. The autumn chill that wakes me up. You love the amber sky so much. Long limbs and frozen swims. You'd always go past where our feet could touch. And I complain the whole night.
Yes.
If I didn't know better, I think you were still around. I know better, but I still feel you all around. I know better, but you're still around.
Well done on that one. Very, very well done. Before I go any further, who is doing the backing vocals? Because I've heard that voice on a couple other songs, or at least one other song here. Who's doing the backing vocals on that? Justin Vernon. And her grandma, apparently. Bon Iver is Justin Vernon. Yes. So the male backing vocals is Bon Iver. So you can't take Bon Iver out of this project, out of this folklore evermore, folkmore, if you will, project here. And people were saying that the song's about her grandma, and I was gonna say that there's no way that this song's about like somebody fictional. Like this is obviously very personal, and this is a very intimate song. I will say some of the other songs, past few songs, have been like, okay, like they weren't like grabbing me so much. I think that this is so far, like the first half of this album rocked. Really liked it. And the second half, it's carrying on that vibe pretty well. And then seems like we got some leftover Reputation era stuff on that last song. But here, it's a little bit more return to form for the project. And, if you've ever lost somebody, right? If you've ever been unfortunate enough to lose somebody that you really love, well, right, that, you wish you would have asked more questions. You wish you would have asked how to be, right? So given that, as somebody who has lost, right, this is one that hits me right in the feels but it doesn't try to do too much. There's this art of subtlety that has carried over so well in this album and in Folklore, that I just really like a ton, whether it's subtlety or it's just things feeling a little bit more distant. Now, does this song kind of break the mold of that because it is a little bit more specific? I don't think so. Outside of it just being about Marjorie, this is like something that you can, right here, and it says Marjorie. You can apply this to however many personal experiences. Oh, and then also like how it just kind of fades out with the instrumentation. Again, like just letting us swim in the atmosphere of the music has really done a lot for me listening to these two albums, and this album especially. Moving on, we have Closure.
Bells out pain. It wasn't right the way it all went down. Looks like you know that now. Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm doing better. It cut deep to know ya, right to the bone. Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm doing better. I know that it's over. I don't need your closure. I know I'm just a winkle in your new life. Staying friends would iron it out so nice. Guilty, guilty, reaching out across the sea that you put between you and me. Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm doing better. It cut deep to know ya, right to the bone. Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm doing better. I know that it's over. I don't need your closure, closure, your closure, your closure.
Yeah, so that one was fun. It seems she didn't need the closure, but she obviously she's got some bone to pick here. Cut right down to the bone, right? Just a coincidence in that. Just like there's got to be something else here. I did really like the percussion on this one. Like the funky little, like almost industrial drums at the beginning, and then like just like the little glitchy sprites here in the back. It's simple. It's straightforward. I was kind of worried that like the drums were gonna get like even crazier, and it was really gonna take me out, but it didn't. The drums stayed in their lane. It didn't wash anything else out here. Yeah, this one, it's, what's trying to be said here other than like, oh yeah, no, like, it's cool, bro. It's fine. Like, I get it. I don't need your closure is the main thing, Jerry. Nothing. Well, you know what? I even kind of like that because I'm left feeling without something here. Without some closure, maybe? I don't know. Like I'm left wanting a little bit more. I'm going to let Taylor cook on that and that alone. For me, that does a lot. When I think about it like that, it's about closure, nothing more. So here's the last song on the standard release, folks. This is Evermore, featuring Bon Iver. Let's go.
Trying to find the one where I went wrong. Writing letters addressed to the fire. And I was catching my breath, staring out an open window, catching my death. Evermore. Hey December, guess I'm feeling unmoored. Can't remember what I used to fight for.
I'm gonna pause real quick here, just to ask one question, right? I'm moving along with it. I know I really haven't been pausing all that much at all, but I gotta ask this before I forget. Is motion capture put me in a bad light? Was that about cats? Perhaps that's up to interpretation, but that's just like the first thing that went to my mind when I saw that line. I was like, oh, okay.
Sending signals to be double-crossed, and I was catching my breath, barefoot in the wildest winter, catching my death. And I couldn't be sure, I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be forevermore.
Cannot think of all the cost, all the things that will be lost. Oh, can we just get a pause to be certain we'll be tall again? Where the weather be the feeling good,
And it was real enough to get me through.
all the relics of the dark days, out on waves, going twice of being told.
I swear,
Is there a line that we can just go cross?
doors of a cabin creaking under my step, and I couldn't be sure. I had a feeling so peculiar. This pain wouldn't be forevermore, evermore.
Okay. So, you gotta love a Bon Iver jump scare just because his voice is just... He's got an incredible voice, and it comes through. Like, I just never know, like, when to anticipate it. Felt the same thing on Folklore. I guess the basic gist of this one is when you're at those low points, it's kind of hard to see anything beyond that. And, you know, that this pain would be forevermore. And then by the end of it, right, this story, the narrative, right, let's land on a conclusion. This pain wouldn't be forevermore, right? The feeling is just as particular, but it's trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's trying to find your route through the shipwreck, right? Trying to find the cracks of light. And in a way, those are all great themes to end an album. Now we will go into more of the recap section of my videos. So traditionally, before the last song on an album, I like to give a recap of the album before we get into the last song as a way to pump up the last song. But here, this is the Evermore Deluxe version, and there's 2 additional tracks, which means that Evermore is the ending of the standard release of Evermore. So if I just listen to this, the standard release, right? Not the deluxe version. We'll see if my opinion changes at all with the last 2 songs. It traditionally doesn't. But yeah, this one's fantastic. I really, really liked Folklore, and there's something about Evermore that I like just a little bit more, and I think it's because of how solid 6 or 7 tracks are to me. They just, and you know, the whole album as a whole, like Folklore, it's, you know, it was her most consistent and cohesive kind of project, I thought, after 1989. But with Folklore, you got this like sense of maturity that we didn't really get from 1989 in terms of lyrics and in production and atmosphere and everything like that. And this is a continuation of that. And there's just something about the first half of this album that really got me going, that I really, really appreciated. I can see why people would say, you know, before or very early on when I started this, I know why people in my own personal life said, like, when are you going to get to Folklore? When are you going to get to Evermore? These definitely lived up to the hype in the sense that I think that they are complete standouts from her other albums thus far. And I kind of get the idea that it's like this sound, but maybe a little bit more boosted going forward. That's just my hypothesis based off of like nothing, right? I don't know if I could tell you a song that was written and released on the next 2 albums, right? those being Midnights and Tortured Poets Department. Oh my God, we're almost done. But here, I thought the concept of the narrative, of the story, whether that's told through the lens of just one person or, in a setting. And even though, I don't think that the second half was maybe as strong, songs like Cowboy Like Me and Marjorie, right, really stood out and carried on. And shit, even Dorothea too. Really helped kind of carry, the essence of folklore, so to speak. And I don't mean to constantly compare folklore to Evermore, right? Because this is its own individual thing. But I think there's much more to get out of it, looking at it as a pair, as a project of projects, right? And in that sense, if we're going to look at it like that, I know in the forward, she was like, we just kept writing. We just kept writing. I think that this was a really good venture into maybe like an epic kind of album, shit, put it on. Like this is like great, like dinner music. And I don't mean that as a bad thing, like at all. This is, you're going to have a nice evening. So we'll get into the bonus tracks here, right? The deluxe products. This is Right Where You Left Me.
Friends break up, friends get married, strangers get born, strangers get buried. Cross-legged in the dim light, they say what a sad sight. I swear you could hear a hairpin drop right when I felt the moment stop. Glass shattered on the white cloth, everybody moved on. I stayed there, dust collected on my pinned up hair. They expected me to find somewhere, some perspective, but I sat and stared right where you left me. You left me, no. You left me, no. The girl who got frozen, time went on for everybody else. She won't know it. She's still 23. Inside her fantasy, how it was supposed to be. Did you hear about the girl who lives in delusion? Breakups happen every day, you don't have to lose. Legged in the dim light, everything was just right. I could feel the mascara run. You told me that you met someone. Glass shattered on the white cloth, everybody moved on. Help, I'm still at the restaurant, still sitting in a corner I haunt. Cross-legged in a dim light, you say what a sad sight. You left me, no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever. You left me. You left me, no. You left me, no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever.
I should have brought this up in the recap. This is another example to why Evermore is Montana, right? And I should have brought up a wider point to where I think I like this one maybe more than Folklore, right? And why I'm really driving with this album is because we get all of the country stuff again, right? But it's coming from a place, she's older now. That's the evolution I'm looking for, folks, right? You might say okay, well, how is she evolving if she's going back? If it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it. Just as simple as that. And what I'll say, we got all these other artists dipping their toes into the cash cow that is like pop country and like country right now. Cause that's the thing, right? And whether or not those albums are like really good or considered in high regard, whether it's, the Beyonce country album that I haven't listened to or the Post Malone album that I haven't listened to, right? If anybody should really put out a country album in 2025, it's got to be Taylor Swift. So I'm banking on another country album, just full on. Here we're getting it. We got the atmospheric, Aaron Dessner kind of stuff, to where the country that we do get, it doesn't really break the mold of that. It fits in pretty squarely. Moving on. Last song on Evermore Deluxe. It's time to go. How fitting. We're at the end.
Up, then the son of the boss gets the spot that was yours. We're trying to stay for the kids when keeping it how it is will only break their hearts worse. That old familiar body ache, the snaps from the same little breaks in your soul. You know when it's time to go. Sometimes giving up is the when it's time to go. Sometimes giving up is the strong thing. Sometimes to run is the brave thing. Sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing. Sometimes giving up is the strong thing. Sometimes to run is the brave thing. Sometimes walking out is the one thing. Time to go. So then you go, then you go, you just go.
That's what I gotta say about that one. All right, so who the fuck was Scott? No matter who the fuck this song is about, right? It's still got a great message. Sometimes giving up is the right thing to do. You know, I'm a guy, right? So I always got to use a sports metaphor. I don't always have to, but it makes sense, right? Remember when I was in journalism school, and I really wanted to do this one story, and I had pretty much all the info laid out, or like ideas for info and like where to get them, but nobody was calling me back and it sucked and I had to get this in. So I went up to my editor and I was like, I can't do this. Nobody's talking back to me. And I could stay on this for 2 more weeks, but I don't think I'm going to get anywhere. And they just went, sometimes you got to punt. Sometimes it's 4th down and you just got to punt the ball to the other team. It's fine. Move on. Put the defense out there. And that's what Taylor's doing here. Scott owned the songs. Scooter bought them. Scott was her original manager. Gotcha. Can I just put him in the one like shitty person? Is that like fine? I feel like I shouldn't respect them either way. I'm gonna punt Scott. You know, I don't know how much I can say as far as placement here because it is a deluxe, but I feel as though, you know, for song placement, right? We talk about that here a lot on our album reactions. This works just as fine as Evermore does. If this was the last song on the standard release, this one works just as well there. Are the 2 bonus tracks going to absolutely change things for you? No, but I'm glad we got more Country Taylor out of it. Like I said, time to go. It's a fine enough message. So that was my reaction to Evermore. Let me know your thoughts about my thoughts down in the comments. If you are looking to support the channel in any way, first off, join me on stream live. One of those links is down in the description. And if you're looking to support the channel even more, you can head over to my Patreon, where for $1 a month, you get full unrequited access to all of my past album reactions, unedited, for you to just watch and watch and watch to your heart's desire. And don't forget to add your recommendations to any leftover Taylor Swift songs that I won't be able to get to just reacting to the albums in the Google form link down below. But with that said, I've been Jerry Bees. You've been awesome. Take it easy.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog.